Welcome, 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 everyone, to another Friday night comedy show. I'm joined by Montesaurus Dean Rex and Melissa Hocking-Hughes. Tonight we are taking the urine out of the lightworker community and talking things beyond your imagination. We intend to offend. If you don't like that, hit the X button on the top right or the red dot on the other side if you're operating on a Mac. This is where we, as spiritual people, let down and have a moment of relaxation. We do not care about politics, this or that. Here, we are here to just have fun. Fun and only fun. So today, joining me in the sandbox is Miss Hughes, Mr. Dean. Welcome to the show, and what kind of toys do we want to bring into the sandbox tonight?
A fire hose. Clean it out completely. There's so much sand. I could start doing the whole Anakin thing. Like, I hate sand. It's coarse and gruff and gets in everywhere.
Yes, especially when it's in thy underwear.
Yeah. You don't want to walk in the desert for 40 days with sand in your crack. It's just
it chafes terribly.
Oh yeah, totally.
And Miss Hughes, what type of toys would you like to bring into the sandbox of comedy tonight?
Well, first of all, I would say we're taking the urine out of everyone and anyone, not just people that are light workers or anything that might have been spiritually adventurous or spiritually exploratory. I'm not going to can on those that did start looking, even if they stopped somewhere inappropriate. But we may take the urine out of the spiritually constipated, but that's global. I mean, I'm pretty sure the Pope lives there. So.
Something's going on with your microphone.
Oh, okay.
Wait,
can you not hear me at all?
No. It's better now. It's like faded in and out for a second. It sounds like whatever your connection is weird.
All right, I'll play with that.
Okay.
You guys.
Current year and nothing works.
It's all right. I had to change ports on my Blue Yeti like twice. I had to find the right USB port that decided to work today.
Yeah, I'm fascinated with yourself and Melissa and Joel, and I just, I click the link and then press the button and then watch you fap about for 20 minutes trying to get everything ready. I'm like, I plugged my computer to the microphone and the microphone works.
Yeah. It wasn't always like that. It was every night the gremlins strike, I don't know, twice a week sometimes. The tech gremlins, Joel can attest to that. And then there are times they've vacated reality, and there's not a gremlin, even a remnants of a gremlin anywhere.
Oh, they're off shift. That's probably why. Yeah.
No, they're gremlinizing someone else.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah.
An easier target.
Yeah, the gremlins have public holiday as well.
So how does a gremlin public holiday work?
Apparently, I'm not sure. Apparently, we're not on Rumble at the moment. They're saying in the chat.
Which chat are you looking at?
It's after first hour.
Oh, okay, so I thought it was simulcast. So okay.
Is it? Tell them to refresh.
Well, I mean, I'll have to type that in because
you will have to. If you are on the Rumble side, go ahead and refresh
because you can't see us. That makes perfect sense. Well, yeah, I just typed refresh, so hopefully that gets that. There we go.
See, gremlins.
No, not I.
Except they're not our gremlins; they are somebody else's refresh gremlins.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
All right, guys. Let's talk about the balloons. Apparently, one of the balloons that shot down was a hobbyist balloon, a $12 balloon that home ham radio operators use to measure sound waves and radio frequencies, shot down by a $500,000 air-to-air missile.
Yeah, it's amazing that the aliens are only attacking the United States because, maybe a peace treaty wasn't signed. I shared that photo. Someone shared it, and I copied it. But it was, aliens map of Earth, and it's just the United States, and the rest of it's a blue water world. But the United States is the only landmass on Earth.
Well, there's actually been unidentified elements in the airspace all over the planet. It's just that you don't hear about it, and you don't hear a certain president come up about 8 days later and say, "Oh no, it was all benign and fine." It was, it's pretty hysterical to watch, particularly what the spin is in governmental-driven media about how benign and safe these are, despite the mass hysteria by these same governments. So it actually is quite a comedy of itself, just watching whatever media moguls are trying to operate a decent message from the government.
Oh yeah,
and I'm talking any governments, everyone.
The spin is large, yes,
and hysterical. It's just
especially with
given the delay in it, the delayed response. Like, we have a gigantic balloon floating over with something hanging off it, doing something. Why don't we see what happens for several days?
Well, let's get it to the East Coast, where apparently we have a working plane. And it's fascinating. When did we do that stream, the World of Warcraft? It was last Saturday, was it, Andrew?
Yes, last Saturday.
Strangely enough, Andrew, dropping info. I've been watching a lot of Power. Dropping. So I just realised I must not say certain words now. Yeah. Not just for YouTube, just in normal company. Anyway, but a lot of truth bombs and nuggets and stuff like that. And basically, I think the conclusion was like, yeah, and poo's going to get weird.
Yep.
And guess what? Then there's a balloon out there. Oh my God. 4 balloons, and yeah, it was.
I think I actually said they're going to shoot some more down.
Yeah. And it's like the mainstream media is talking about aliens.
Yes, UFO, unidentified flying objects.
Yeah, UFOs and aliens. Like, we don't know if they're alien or not, but they're saying it with a straight face. Yeah, because a week ago, how it's like, back in 2013, if you met yourself, you would tell what's it like 10 years from now? Oh, well, this happened. No, we did. Go back a week, and if I told you the mainstream media is going to start talking about UFOs in about 7 days. Nah, that's not gonna happen.
The biggest irony is the day before the balloon incident, the first remnants of the balloon incident, the Department of Defense failed its 5th audit in a row and is now missing $6 trillion.
Oh, it's that couch in the Pentagon.
And then we had a train accident that is as bad as Chernobyl.
And that's near you.
Yes, like 90 miles southwest, southeast of me.
Yeah, I don't think it's because of you. I just want to make sure everyone listening. It's like, we need to get this historian. Yes, maybe we take a train.
The irony is they decided to use UFOs and balloons to cover up that story, or to spin within it.
Yeah, I like the synchronicity of it. Is it actually pronounced Palestine?
Yes, Palestine. Yes.
Yeah, it is Palestine. Yeah, that makes me giggle, because Palestine's not in the news, but yeah, look out, balloon. Don't look up. There's a movie about that.
So is there a Dome of the Rock in Palestine?
I don't know, but there's a couple of clubs in your Palestine that can rock.
This chemical trail. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, you got to be careful with this universe. If you put it in an order, like, I want to manifest this, you got to get the wording correct, because you'll never know what you get. I want transparency, all right, just through hypocrisy. Damn it.
Or you have to keep the door open every time you pee and poo. There's your transparency.
Yeah.
Has to be like high school. Yes, our high school took off the doors to all the bathrooms, so you could not have any peace anywhere.
Hmm.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful.
Yeah,
because
You know why? You know why they
Well-
did that? Is because the students in the generation before us would put large-scale fireworks down the toilet and explode the inside of the toilet systems.
Yes, I think there's a Simpson episode that
Well,
shows
that was
very
common at our high school before we got there. And when we got there, the doors had already been taken off for like 10 years.
Yeah, because Bart drops down a small cherry bomb, whatever it is, and Skinner's mum is actually on the toilet when it goes off. And so the explosion's halfway down the drain, and it pushes all the water, so the water comes out of the toilets.
Yeah.
Which you think about is like...
And
yeah.
it shatters a lot of the pipes, too. It actually did damage.
Yeah. I haven't watched the last 10 years of The Simpsons, but the first 20 seasons of The Simpsons, if you need to explain the universe, there's a Simpson episode for it. So the first 400 episodes, I'm sure you could find anything. Like, a Hadron Collider, blah, blah, blah. Well, in this episode from season 4...
Right. In this episode from season 4, it's this way.
Yeah, someone I know, though, she was learning to be a teacher. She was actually translating from the teacher to student. Like, physics, blah, 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 and, gravity. I'm like, that Simpson episode where Bart does like,
Well, he does that in a lot of episodes.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just pointing out, the first 20 seasons of The Simpsons is a learning guide. Or,
South Park still brings out gold too, actually. I have to say they do. They recently brought out an episode about some certain red-headed former royal and his second-rate try-hard actress partner. And the episode's hysterical. And so I do like how they titled, he's released a book, and the title of the book is That's the title.
Well, he's called Spare, trying to get sympathy, but it's royalty. Like, especially when they came up with the idea of, God gave me the right to be king. It's like, I think you killed everyone else. That's not really God there. That was you with a big sword. But the first thing the king does is gets married, so they can have an heir and a spare. Like Henry VIII was a spare. He wasn't the first. Yeah, he wasn't first. He was second born. The first one died when he was young. I think 26 before. Obviously, the father died. But yeah, King, and he married the girl that his brother was supposed to. If you want to know how Game of Thrones works, it's based on European royalty. So it's like, how can they come up with all this? Just go, no. JJR or whatever, Mr. Martin, looked at European royals and just gone, oh, this is fantastic.
Do you know, I'm never seen a Game of Thrones episode, not one. And as you guys know, I'm quite the nerd. Never seen it.
Well.
Decided one franchise can do without me.
Well, basically, my review of the 8 seasons, it's like the Hindenburg. The Zeppelin leaves Berlin, goes to UK, flies wonderful. Just when it gets to Washington, doesn't really make the landing that well. It's like, when season 8 came out, everyone's like, what the hell is this? And especially if you do for people reading the books. I think it's season 4. The TV show catches up with the books. Yep. And you can tell in season 5, I'm like, yeah, this doesn't have the same oomph that it does. Like,
and he still hasn't finished the series yet.
No, it's only got one book to go, I think. And fans have been waiting 10, 15 years. And like, we're not going to get we're not going to get the book, are we? I think because the TV show's ending is so bad. There was one part, apart from the writing of it and just like the character choices, like what's going on here, blah 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 blah. Melissa, you'll love this. An episode that went to air had a Starbucks mug in it.
Oh.
Yeah, now this is like medieval times, but it's fantasy. But it got past. People didn't notice it while filming. It went through the edit process. It went through the director checks and the producers checks and everything. Hundreds of people saw this footage. It still was broadcasted or streamed or however you want to say it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the irony, it was a Starbucks in when they were filming in New Zealand. In the middle of nowhere is New Zealand. But they had a Starbucks a catering company come with them. So they had Starbucks coffee. So whoever was doing catering for the big thing, because you got to realize there's some of those people, there were 4,000 and 5,000 people on set for some of those episodes. And that particular episode, it was like thousands and thousands of people on set for the filming of that episode.
It was the Siege of Winterfell. That's why.
Yeah. Siege of Winterfell.
And that was the capital of the North. And yeah, it took forever. Like, I watched the first episode and the White Walkers are going to come, and 4 seasons later, at what point are you going to bring back the White Walkers? You keep saying winter's coming, and I've just seen sex, orgies, and death. When's the story start?
You want to hear something funny? The vast majority of the people in the armor on those horses were women because they could not find enough men horse riders who were the right age to play it. So they hired a whole bunch of teenage girls who were very big into horsing to do all those scenes, fully armored, dressed, and everything. Yeah. The irony, the Siege of Winterfell is mostly a bunch of teenage girls on horseback.
But that's what they did with Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings was the same.
They had no choice. That was all that was available, yeah.
Yeah, I believe they pretty much called up everyone that did Lord of the Rings and said, "Can you guys bring your horses back?" And dressed them all up again in armor.
Yep.
And so, yeah.
And they had experience.
Yeah, they're great riders.
We've done this before.
But you reminded me when you said Hindenburg. You reminded me of the latest Knives Out movie called Glass Onion. Have you seen that, Mont?
No.
There's a great moment. There's a great Hindenburg moment in that. But given that it's all murder mystery, fabulous, all the rest, I won't give anything away.
Well, I only watched the first one. I only watched the first one, so I could see what Ryan Johnson's doing and find out who it is. And it's the thing is for me anyway, I'll never watch it again. It's just you watch it, you go, oh, it's that guy, he did it, and that's it. It's not I can rewatch this again. Well, you know how it's going to end. The mystery's not there. If it's a Agatha Christie mystery, she wrote certain stories where she puts, I can't remember the exact term, but she put all the clues in the story, and you have to reread it again. It's that's what chapter 3. That's when the mirror came in. Well done, Agatha. Yeah,
I freaking love that. I love a really cleverly written book like that. The first Knives Out movie, which was just had an awesome cast, was really clever, really good. The second one, which is the one I was talking about with the Hindenburg moment, is not as good. Stick it out. If you make it through halfway, it gets a lot better. A really good twist comes in and it gets good. But you got to. I've got so many people I know just went, "Oh my god," and dropped it about a third of the way in because it was so slow to start, and it was a little bit painful. And so it was. But the first one's bloody brilliant. Such a great write, and I believe the guy that directed it is the author of it as well. He wrote it.
And you're talking about this with Knives Out. Is that with Chris Pine? That was the secret agent.
No. Knives. Ryan Johnson.
It's got Daniel Craig
with a very interesting Southern accent. Yes,
he does actually. It's the first time I've seen him really act.
I'm either having a Mandela effect moment, Knives Out, or I watched something else.
I think they're Netflix films.
No.
Okay, Chris Evans.
Yeah, it was Ryan Johnson. Yeah, Ryan Johnson's next film after The Last Jedi.
Oh, that's right. Rian Johnson did do The Last Jedi, right? Yeah, he actually wrote and directed this, and produced, and everything else. The that series, and brilliant casts, really good casts, and yeah. And he's done that thing, like when a great band puts out their first album, and the first album's just mind-blowing because it's their life's work. The previous 20-odd years of music's gone into that first album. And then they have to crank out the next one according to whatever recording deal they've got, and the second album usually sucks. Well, I'm hoping that's what's happened, and that the third movie will be brilliant.
Well, the thing is, I mean, I'm not sure of what the second film's about, and I don't really need to know either. But it's basically Daniel Craig's character, realistically, because unless he's investigating the same family again.
No, a completely different environment.
Yeah, so it'll probably work better at a TV show, but yeah.
I figured out what I confused. The one with Chris Pine was all the old Knives versus Knives Out. So I got the knives all screwed up, and that one with Chris was awful. I mean, I'm like hour and 40 minutes into the 2-hour movie, and I'm like, huh? There's nothing going on in this movie. It's all talk, bullshit, talk, bullshit. They don't do anything, and it's supposed to be a spy thriller.
Yeah, a good spy thriller can be wordy. Like I've started watching. There's a show from the UK. I think it's BBC called Spooks, and they went for 2002 to I think around about 2012, and it's really good. Especially watching it now, like it's 20 years ago. Like it's kind of the same, but it looks quaint. Like the mobile phones are small. Very interesting.
The Knives Out movie.
Here, it's my
Yeah, your microphone fades in and out every now and then. It seems like it's your cord that's actually plugging into your computer is what's fading in and out. It's the same thing I have with my microphone.
So my microphone I bought from Aldi supermarkets for about $80 years ago when I was living in Roxburgh Park, Melissa, on the other side of the world, or Melbourne. And yeah, I just find it interesting. I do I've seen someone explain like, okay, you want to do something on a Mac, get this app, click here, and you should be able to do it. And it's like, but if you want to do it on a PC, don't do this, or this. Now, if you have this, you can do this. And of course, if you got that and this, then you do this. Go to page 2. But free will, you can choose. People give me grief for having Mac products, and it's like, yeah, but what's a virus? And no, I know that joke's going to kick me in the bum. I'm sure they'll have a virus turn up eventually.
But well, are we allowed to say virus? Is that one of the 16,500 words?
I was talking about computer. Will Bill Gates sue me?
Computer viruses. Let's qualify.
Exactly.
Okay, that's weird. Sorry, still working the tech. Sorry, everyone.
Are you trying to plug it into the computer or your phone?
I'm trying to actually adjust from the phone. But I'm just going to do a quick reboot, everyone.
Yeah, you're muted now. There you go.
Oh,
she'll be back. She's rebooted.
Yep. Have you turned it off and on again?
We just found that.
Yep. There's a British sitcom in I think the mid-2000s called the IT Crowd or the It Crowd. I think they wanted to call it the It Crowd, but everyone referred to it as IT. So it's a play on words. And it's basically about 3 people in the IT of this business. And it's funny. It's a sitcom and everything. But the running gag for at least the first 4 episodes or the whole season was, hello, IT, have you turned it on and off? Have you turned it on and off again? Or
have you turned it on? Exactly, yeah. That's good.
Yeah, because that's basically, and I mean, you've heard those stories of my computer's not working, and then 5 minutes later they find out oh yeah, there's a power outage. I think I just figured out why your computer's not working, sir.
Because there is a power outage, exactly.
Yeah. But us humans are like, I understand the elites think we're dumbed down humans and we're sheeple and we're useless eaters. I think they refer to us as, even though they created that. They're all dumb. It's like, but aren't you in control of the education? So it's your fault. It's you, isn't it? But just some people are special.
Uniquely special. Uniquely special to be ignorant of the greater awareness of what's going on. And you must explain everything to them.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not cringe, but I sort of, when, NPC, you meet someone without a soul, I'm like, well, they're not a background. Can you prove that they didn't choose that for this lifetime? Of like, the Great Awakening, can I have that off?
I'm not on that team this time.
I'm
for white picket fence and whatever the system has to offer him, because I like the system. It's been good to me.
Yeah,
domination and control. It's not that bad. I mean, I got the house. I got 2 ex-wives. I mean, things are doing good.
Yeah, no, I don't have to feed the machine, but I'll be there. Just background energy for the rest of the awakening. You know what I'm saying?
Besides,
I'll have fun.
It feeds more off of you than it does to me.
Exactly. I mean, if I'm having a happy life, everything's going well. The loosh factor here is not that much.
Exactly.
I'm more of a support role.
Right. I've got a timeshare in Boca Raton. I'm really doing good. The system's done good by me.
Yeah, I'm part of a corporation that actually does something. It creates something, and we make coffee blenders, and people like their coffee. So it's not like we're a financial hedge fund where we just suck the life out of everything. So that's what I'm basically doing.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. See, system's not all that bad.
Yeah.
There are plenty of people that live and die by the system.
Yeah. And that's the fun part of waking up, but it's mind you, I don't know if I've gone back to sleep, but I did type on Monday while on a show, like the way to win the spiritual war is not to be in it.
Yes, to not give battle space for it.
Yeah. So we have to, we're fighting the demons and the lizards, and it's like, yeah, cool. I'm going over here now. I'm actually
going
trying
to the drama-free zone.
Well, no, see, because I've walked away from the global narrative, and now I'm creating my reality. And someone should give me a friggin' manual. It's like, what is going on? All this backlog of crap.
So we have some people asking us to talk about the cushy blimps and technology and the Palestine, Ohio disaster. Toxic smoke go off. The CSX railroads say it's not potent, it's not going to kill you. Things start dying. CSX says tough luck. Everybody ignores it for 10 straight days. And now they're all forced to admit, there's definitely something going on there. That's the short story. The long story is the disaster is as bad as ecology-wise, it's as bad as Chernobyl.
Yeah, like Chernobyl is basically being referred to. Yeah.
So Melissa, in this Zoom room, in this room here, you're going to see a chat button. It'll be on your right. Oh
no, that's there. Yeah, no, that's there. It's just not flowing. I was just saying to Joel, do you want me to reboot the entire thing instead of?
No, it's just that's only linked to YouTube, and the YouTube's got a smaller. Everybody's in Rumble right now. Rumble doesn't aggregate on this chat right now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the fun part of non-centralization, where this sometimes works with that. Like, I'm just doing a radio show. I have to have 4 programs open.
Yeah, we'll have the whatchamacallit channel taken care of probably by our next show.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Rumble. When you say taken care of, like we put him in the back of a truck and we go for a drive, or
No, having a private chat area on the Discord channel.
all right.
Yeah.
Right, so not that taken care of. All right. Hey, I got a guy. He's got a bat.
Yeah.
And they keep using the N word, and if you keep watching stuff like that, it starts popping up in your brain. Like, really? I've actually started watching Power Book 2 Ghost, and Method Man's a very good actor. He's playing a lawyer.
Yeah, see, that was my initial introduction to that series, was watching Ghost, and I went back and watched all the other ones. I'm like, damn, is that shit good?
Yeah, especially I won't give away too much of the ending. Like episode 10, there's a major plot point. I'll say it that way. And for the next 5 episodes, because there's 15 episodes, usually it's 10, but it was 15 episodes in season 6, they actually followed the character, the one character each. So there's 5 different stories being resolved. And so instead of jamming those 5 characters in just one episode, they actually have an episode each. Like the episode 10 was about 1 hour and 17 minutes long. And it was long. But then the next 5 is like, okay, well, that character will do 1 hour on that character, and you see what happens. And then, okay, the next episode was the next character, because you didn't see who did the thing. There you go. Trying to be non-spoilery. So there you go. Mind you, I can spoil Game of Thrones for you. The season 8's crap. So,
Yes.
So pretty much, I think you've done that. I think you pulled that off.
Well, yeah, because you can't even suggest to people, it's like, well, you have to give a warning. It's like, yeah, if you do start, you'll love the first 4 seasons, and then it's a slow slide into the manure pit.
Right. It's a train crash you have to watch. That's what it felt like for me. Like, I didn't watch any of Game of Thrones until I think season 5 came out, or season 4, when everybody like, you gotta watch it. I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of train crashes, tell us more about what you know about the whole. Was it the Palestine? Is that how?
Yes.
Like, do we decide that?
East Palestine, Ohio.
Okay.
Which is about 95 miles south and east of me, where I'm at over here. It is a little podunk, middle of the nowhere town next to the Ohio River. It is all farming everywhere, literally, and there are smaller and smaller towns progressively around it that are even smaller than it. The town's of about 5,000. And a train came through that had defective brakes and wheels on it, and it caught fire, derailed and caught fire. Mm-hmm. It was promptly ignored by everybody. And the railway company said, it's fine, don't really worry, it's not that bad. And then they realized what was on the train. Methyl chloride, basically the toxic gas that they used in World War I to kill people, that's what was on there. It's in liquid form. 1,700,000 pounds of it. It was not one car, it was dozens of cars. And that vinyl chloride was the other one. Another thing. Well, the railroad immediately wanted to reopen, to clear it out and reopen the tracks, because it's in a very important set of tracks. Those tracks are extremely important tracks. Because it goes along the Ohio River, and it stacks and a lot of the small river ports use those train systems to get stuff, barges and stuff loaded and unloaded. It's a heavy grain area too. Well, vinyl chloride, they decided that the National Transportation Safety Board ignored it, the federal level, and the local EPA level said, okay, CSX, you take care of it. Well, they decided to put a whole bunch of C4 on it and blow it up. And then they did it live on TV, and a mushroom cloud about 9 miles high showed up. Pure black mushroom cloud. And that's when everybody went, oh, fudge-o-matic. Okay? And then it started acid raining, and the animals started dying everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen a photo of the clouds, and it's basically like, here's the photo. See where the disaster is, because it's just dark abyss, black cloud where it is. It just shows like the crap about how crap governments are, or government departments, and so on and so forth. Like how Katrina hit New Orleans, and it took 4 days to get water to the Superdome. Like, really? Okay, America. It's just, yeah.
Took 4 days to shoot down an air balloon too. It was, got
4 days and a $500,000 missile that missed on the first shot. That's the irony.
We're in a time where, like, shouldn't, like, as voters, shouldn't we start saying to governments, okay, you really need to justify your existence now?
Right.
No, we've given all these medical treatments to certain people because of a circumstance that's happening. Notice how I'm using words, but dancing around this because I realize we're on YouTube. And then 2 years later, like, oh, there's a lot of clots and heart problems. Anyway, money's inflation's going through the roof. Just tighten your belt, chaps. That'll be good.
So, something else that was really funny. So the mainstream media here, for the first 5 days, completely ignored the fact that this was going on, and only a handful of small agencies were covering. Local news agency were covering it. And one of the newly elected Ohio congressmen decided to go out there, and a bunch of small children took him to the river's edge, and they threw a rock in the water, and all of a sudden from the bottom of the water came up this oily substance, and then there was this rainbow shimmer all over. The entire bottom of the creek is coated this vinyl chloride. I mean, it's because it sticks to the bottom. That's what's killing the fish. And the guy broadcast this everywhere, and all of a sudden began to the forever undead creatures inside the government began to realize they were exposed. Okay? Mm. And that they couldn't hide it anymore. And they spent another 5 days trying to suppress and hide it. And it's now reached a point, the class action lawsuits are already starting. CSX, the railroad, was trying to force residents to sign a thing. If you wanted your house tested for gas and safety, you had to write an indemnity indemnifying CSX railroad from any future action. Come on, you're like in the middle of the disaster. You're forcing them to sign indemnity clauses if you want your house tested. Right, yeah, that's the level of corruption going on within it.
Not just that, the non-disclosure. They were after the non-disclosure,
yep.
full liability indemnity release.
Yep.
For us to give you the levels of toxicity we cause that'll probably cause your death. And it was
yeah.
I think someone led from Flint, Michigan.
Guess what? Pittsburgh was in the big plume of clouds, like 12. Pittsburgh's like 16 miles away, 18 miles away. It's not far. The southern parts of it. Okay.
Well, you got the cloud, and then also it's in the river, so you would have to start looking at the whole
Ohio River, which feeds into the entire Mississippi River. It's the breadbasket of that entire area. Yes.
Yeah, and it's like Melissa, for your perspective, when you're going grocery shopping, have you seen weirdness? Like, where I've gone, most of the shopping, the supermarket's full, except for one or two items where they're gone. And it's like, did everyone buy this at once, or is there something? Because I'm seeing other photos, like apparently there's a potato shortage, or there's eggs, or eggs in the United States. If you've got chickens, you're a king now. Because for this Valentine's Day, give her a gift of love, and is worth a lot. And then handing over 12 eggs in a carton.
There's a lot of great memes about the egg thing. There's like, people trying to saying, I know the value of what I've got when they've got a dozen eggs, and I would like a holiday to Thailand 5 nights. Like everyone's, there's a lot of memes about the egg thing. That's interesting. It brings up the whole topic. Oh, look out.
Sorry.
The topic.
Sorry about that.
Are we allowed to talk about viruses or not? But the whole bird flu. But I'm talking about the old bird flu. Around like 2005 bird flu. And but yeah, the bird flu actually hasn't hit. Australia or Australasia, so the continent of down around Australia, is the only continent aside from Antarctica that hasn't been hit by the latest bird flu, which is actually affecting the birds, like chickens, everyone.
They're culling. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's all right. Go for it.
They're culling chickens here, left and right, hardcore.
Yeah.
I did see an article. They're thinking of vaccination. I'm like, well, we know how that works. Nice planning there. But because it's so bad, like the current one is so bad, and so they're thinking about it, and like, well, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Well, they are talking about vaccinating. There's a lot of jokes yesterday. I was talking to some friends about it because we're all making jokes about whether or not they're going to mandate the chickens to take the vaccine. Mm-hmm. What sort of threats they're going to have to chickens' income? Will they have reduced feed if they don't get the vaccine? We're all talking about what's going to happen if they don't have the bird flu vaccine. But
will they have sorry to interrupt, but will they have a downloadable app for their phone to show their vaccination status?
That's right. That's right. Will
there be a chicken lockdown?
Yeah. What do you mean? I can't come into the farm. I want to come into the barn. Oh, sorry, mate. No, look, my phone's in there. I left my phone when I left the barn. I'm sorry. You got to show your status, my friend.
Yeah, they've already trialed lockdown. They trialed lockdown in the United States, and they made all the same stupid mistakes they made with the humans in lockdown a couple of years ago. People were walking in and out of the chickens with the same shoes on and the same, the virus spread. They actually did trial chicken lockdown, and thought they had the answers. But yeah, it's but it is. You go into the supermarket and there's always something now that is, deficient, as you say, Mont. There's always something that's in shortage at the moment. And they are saying there's a potato shortage. It doesn't seem to be a potato shortage so much as you can't get chips and fries shortage. It's a fry shortage rather than so much the actual potato. And it's it's a little bit bizarre, but to me, well, it's bizarre to think that there's still shortages, but at the same time, it's incredibly clever marketing for them to continue rising prices. The prices of groceries has just gone up everywhere, and that's global. All of us are wearing it. It's gone up incredibly.
Last weekend. I was going to say last weekend. Oh, go ahead. Just very quickly, Andrew. Last weekend here in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, petrol went up 37 cents. And it's dropped 10 cents now, but people are getting used to those spikes in prices, and it sickens me. Anyway, Andrew, go ahead.
So the food prices are raising, but the price of insects is going down. So World Economic Forum's Klaus Schwab, oh no, I said his name out loud. Hopefully don't kill our stream. His wife has put out a cookbook on insects.
Mm-hmm. It's real. Most people,
it's real.
When it first came out, I'm like, is this satire? But no, it's real. See, it's very hard to have satire now because the world's so crazy and people are so weird.
There's a tremendous shortage on conspiracy theories too.
Oh yeah, well, most of them came true or falling apart. An actress singer actually, and this is from CNN, actually has come out and said the term alien is disrespectful to these beings.
As I said to you about that, I'm pretty sure she was just trying to cover all bases. She was kissing alien butt just so she looks like she's already defending them politically.
Yes, this is the world we live in, where in a week we've gone from there's no disclosure. If you believe in aliens, you're nuts. 7 days later. Now, no, we don't know. These are unidentified flying objects, but they're not aliens. We think they're Chinese or Russian. They're pulling that card. Is it Russian? Wait, skip it. Go. You said they're not aliens. You know for sure, right? Okay. And you're saying that with a straight face.
So what are their pronouns?
them, them, them. They come here. It's them who you meet.
Yeah. Oh God, that'll be exhausting trying to figure out the pronoun of every different species.
Yeah, well, I mean, I mean, a grey, it's like, well, it's an it.
It's a they, them.
That's derogatory.
To who?
I'm not. The grey's like, I'm not an it. I'm a grey.
I am one in 10,000 consciousness. Sorry, Melissa.
That's right. We know that they're ace. So they're just, poor old greys, they've had the horrible inbreeding for far too many generations to be anything but ace. But they're, oh dear, poor things.
Most of them don't even have sex organs anymore, so there's no inbreeding. It's just miscloning.
Hence why they are asexual. But
yeah, I like some parts of the greys have time traveled back to see what went wrong. It's like, find the person being them, they, z, whatever you want to. The thought of like, you know what, we should evolve and remove sexual organs. Try and stop there. Go back to that point and go, Sam, I think you're going to make a mistake here. It's I'm just thinking. I'm just looking ahead. Seven generations like the Native Americans. Mm-hmm. I think I may want to keep my PP. I'm just putting it out there.
What were they thinking? Removing things that pleasured their existence from an entire race.
They'd already gone beyond pleasure at that particular point. They were full into science. And it was all about expanding the consciousness and getting access to technology. And the sex organs were an obstacle to operating the technologies they wanted to do.
Yeah, there'll be a valid reason.
And they dehumanized in their own way. That's why transhumanism is such a natural disaster here going on.
It is kind of interesting that less than 1% of the population is trying to dictate. It was like, that sounds kind of Nazi-esque. Small group of people telling everyone else what to do. I did notice, maybe it was just my YouTube thing, but Ricky Gervais popped up again, and the way he was talking, he was making transgender jokes because he actually explained, they're funny, and then he explains like, I do those jokes because they wanted to be treated all as an equal. That's why the jokes are in the show, and they're humans, so you go for human rights. So if trans rights, I'm like, not sure that most of I can't think of anything that the trans rights sector falls under human rights. I don't see why there should be any difference apart from division.
But division is a way of life here.
Yeah, I know that. Yep, division. And compromise and adaptation, being a human from Earth. Sorry, am I boring you? You're both reading. Am I boring you?
No. I was just trying to figure out what was going on in the other chat there.
No, it's a comedy show. It was a joke.
Well, I got caught. Oh, let me switch devices again. Hold on a second. Let me switch out. So I'm not on my phone here.
Right. We've got 9 minutes left on YouTube.
But who's counting? YouTube restrains things so much now with your boring 16,500 word restriction of crap. Although someone did just message me before saying that we're not allowed to mention, I think it was the Ohio thing, the train thing. And I really should spend a good 5 hours updating my 16,500 words before we come on. But it's like,
yeah, big tech is going to censor you. No, they're not. By the way, here's 16,000 words you can't say.
16,500.
Do they? If they keep adding them, do they take any off?
No, nope. It's like the tax system. The FBI technically is a what's the right word? Oh, it's a temporary organization.
Was
100 years ago.
100 years ago,
yeah, it was
exactly.
a temporary. Yeah. Like, yeah, I mean, the fuel excise, and they just keep adding, and I don't know. Someone here in Australia, the idea of raising the GST percentage has popped up. I'm like, okay, why? What are you idiots doing? Like, you need to put 5% more. It's 10% now, and you want to raise it to 15. Who is in government that failing? Like, $1,000 is a hammer. Is there 2 holes in your bucket? Because there should be one to fill the bucket. But if there's a smaller hole at the bottom and it's just leaking out, I'm just trying to logically figure this out.
I think the government would view it who's succeeding, not who's failing. I mean, if they've managed to stick an extra hole in the bucket, and let's face it, they have many. But I was going to say to you, with the price rise of petrol that was so sudden last week, where it went up like 40 cents a litre everywhere, all of a sudden, the cause of it, I started digging around, like, what are they claiming that petrol rise is about? Like, what are they going to say? Surely they wouldn't dare say it was something to do with the earthquake or, the tsunami's taken out or whatever. Surely they wouldn't step on that and say, oh, yeah, we have to because we can't. I mean, that's right. You've got to remember that we're on the other side of the planet. Yeah. And so it was pretty hard for us to take it when they talked about certain wars in certain northern hemispheric areas. Check me out, YouTube. Was causing the oil prices to go up, and we had their fuel go up. And it was just, come on. It's not like we weren't getting oil from there. But it was this one, though, I thought, don't you dare try and say it's something to do with the earthquake or something like that. For the life of me, couldn't find anything that stated why the fuel had gone up so suddenly. Nothing concrete. And they obviously realised it was going to be far more dangerous to actually make a statement like that about, because that, without a doubt, that particular natural disaster up in Turkey, Syria, etc., will be one of the greatest human race catastrophes we've probably seen in the last century, because not what actually happened on the day or even what the count is up to now, the ongoing effects of that are enormous. The ripples are certainly going to keep rolling out from that particular disaster. And so it'll be really fascinating to watch it, but to try and watch, I don't know, we're watching this fabulous time where there's such an intolerance for the lack of authenticity. No one believes it anymore. When a certain president gets up and starts saying, oh, no, they weren't anything to worry about. And we're all like, really? You actually think people are going to believe you? All of us are just going, do they actually think people are that dumb now? Like, days later, no explanation, slow response, and I don't know.
But it's a very human reaction. It's a very human reaction. Sorry, you're right. It's a very human reaction of like, Sigh.
This is it now. No one's buying that, dude. But maybe someone is. I don't know if there's people out there that still buy the word of the government like that anymore. But it was just that was such slow response, slow explanation. It really was. It really was an exceptionally bad response. So it's like, and the irony was, we're dealing with a hot air balloon. It's just wonderfully primitive.
Remember when it flew over Montana, and I think Yellowstone could be a documentary. I don't think it's it flew. It started, as it was floating above Montana. The Montanians, is that the right word? Were firing at it. It was like that's not supposed to be here. Bang, bang, bang.
At least they took action.
Exactly. I think Sean David Morton sent out an email, and he's got a couple of I think uncles who are military. One's in Air Force and one's Navy. And most of the military personnel are livid because, $4 trillion budget with all the manpower and equipment and everything else like that. And you allow China's supposed to be our enemy. Depending who you talk to, they're trying to start a war with, Taiwan, blah, blah, blah. But a Chinese balloon goes from coast to coast over 3 days, and it gets to Georgia, and then we should shoot it down now. Like, it's like, are the writers that bad? Like,
Yes.
I was going to say, like, we started the new TV season, and I think everyone left. And little Jimmy, who's 14, is like, I have to write something. A balloon. Yeah, okay, a balloon.
Well, the irony, they spun this so stupidly wrong. They had to bring up UFOs to make anyone believe it in any way, shape, or form. They had to use the UFO word. And they had to trigger all the conspiracy people into this. But like I said earlier, the day before the balloon issue, the DoD, Department of Defense, failed its fifth audit. Audit. Okay? And $6 trillion is missing. Where did it go?
The thing is, well, it reminds me of the international courts. We're taking this to the international courts. This is against human rights. This is that. There's no enforcement. Yeah, we find out they've done the wrong thing. And what's the enforcement? What do you know, like, what's the... They've failed their audit. Again, no one is slapping the wrist. There is no punishment, fine. Okay, they failed again. Why do we keep auditing? They're on their 6-1. When are we going to learn? It's not having an effect.
I remember, I'm not sure if, Melissa, you may have been on, I think it was a comedy show. We had David, I'm going blank on his last name.
Ellis.
David Ellis on, and we were reading out the UN Human Rights Charter. And in Victoria broke all of them during the lockdowns and everything else like that.
Right,
and it's like it's and also I'm sure I'm waiting for the government to say, the UN, we've got to follow them, blah blah blah, and all that type of guff. And it's like, you just ignored the thing because there's a virus out there that's killing people. So that means the government can do whatever it's like and go into tyranny and so on. People, they remember the fear, and yes, there was a virus. There still are viruses out there that kill people. We're on the hour, right? So, yeah. Yes. Hello, Rumble.
All right, everybody. If you are on YouTube, tough luck. We are ending the YouTube stream so that we can say the 16,500 words we want to say on the other side. So there's going to be a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, goodbye, YouTube. And then Joel will tell us when we are fully on Rumble before they kill our stream.